again with another episode of New Beginnings, Life After MS. And I'm here today correcting a problem that I had over the past week. My son came to help me film the second video, and I had some sort of mishap and lost the video, and now today I am refilming the video, but without my son. It'll be me alone. So I had him ask a few questions that I had prepared so that I can answer them and give you more information about my journey. But since he's not here, I'll ask the question and answer the question. So please bear with me. I had some technical difficulties. My phone died, but I have since purchased a new phone. Also, I wanted to let you know that because of vision issues, I have one contact in and one contact out. And the reason for that is that I cannot see well with both contacts in, with both eyes together. The way I read with the eye without the contact because I can see up close, but I cannot see far away without the contact, and with the contact I can see far away, but I can't see up close, if that makes sense. So you'll see me close one eye so that I can read, but that is necessary in order for me to read. So please bear with me while I redo the second video. The first question is, what do I mean by after MS? When most people hear the diagnosis of MS, they automatically assume that it's forever and it's never gone away. So I'm sure a lot of you have questions about what I mean by after MS, because usually there's no after MS that is good. What I mean by after, the reason why I say that is because there are 4 reasons. For one, the transplant that I had for the MS, relapsing remitting MS, it stripped my old immune system and gave me a brand new immune system. 2, I am no longer on MS medication. I was directed by doctors and nurses to not take any steroids or MS medications for MS. Because I have a new immune system, I don't need MS medication. For 2 or 3, it has reversed some symptoms and improved other symptoms. And 4, what was 4? Oh, it stopped the progression of the disease so it will not get any worse. What you see is the result of what MS has already done. And so what I'm doing right now is working to reverse symptoms that MS has already created in my body. The second question is, what were the first symptoms before you were diagnosed? The first symptoms that I had before I was officially diagnosed was chronic fatigue, severe fatigue, and there was a severe pain behind my right eye, which I later learned was optic neuritis, which is pretty much a deterioration of the optic nerve in the eyes. That is one of the symptoms, optic neuritis, and it's not only in the right eye, but it's also in the left eye. But it's worse in the right eye than the left eye. The third question is, what was your initial stem cell transplant search like? The initial transplant search, because I knew this was not the end of my story, I knew that MS had to go. So I went on a search for something to get rid of the disease, and the stem cell transplant was the first thing that came to mind. So when I first started researching the stem cell transplant, I was going to a different doctor at the MS Center of Atlanta. I told her about the stem cell transplant idea that I had, and told her that I was looking into a stem cell transplant program out of Tijuana, Mexico, that cost $25,000. She looked at me and she said, "Don't go to Mexico. I am all for the stem cell transplant as long as it's in the States. It is hosted by a hospital. And again, within the state. So I'm all for it." So I changed my search and didn't look at the Tijuana, Mexico transplant as an option. I started to look at other options. And I put in the Yahoo search something about stem cell transplant in the United States at a hospital. Something like that. And the first thing that came up was Dr. Burt's transplant study at the autoimmunotherapy program out of Northwestern Memorial Hospital in Chicago, Illinois. That was the first one. And I did research on the doctor, the program, the hospital, and decided that that was where I was going to have the transplant done. I looked into the process, what I had to do to get into the program. And I initially had to go through an interview process with the doctor. I had to go through lab work. Basically, they had to look me over and approve me for the stem cell transplant. So that was the initial transplant that I was looking at first, and then the one I decided on was the transplant hosted by Dr. Burt at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. I explained the process of the stem cell transplant, the doctor's expectations of that transplant. I'll speak a little about that. The transplant was for relapsing, remitting MS patients. And from the initial approval of the stem cell transplant, I had relapsing, remitting. By the time it was time to go through the transplant, I had progressed to pre-primary progressive MS. And the doctor's expectations dwindled somewhat. And at first I was going to be in study, but by the time the transplant rolled around, I was off study. So I was in the transplant program, but I was not in the study per se. And that was because he knew that it would help me, and that is why he agreed to do the transplant. He wanted to help me. But he knew that it was not going to reverse all of the symptoms or even most of the symptoms, but he was at least hoping that it would help me. That's why he agreed to do it. So, those were the doctor's expectations. The next video is gonna talk about the symptoms of MS. So that's gonna be a more lengthy video. So give me time to prepare for that, and I will discuss the symptoms in the next video. Because I missed a video last week, the symptom video will be coming up really soon. It won't be a full week. I will try and get that in within the next day or two. And my channel is going to not only persist of me telling you about what happened in regards to me and MS in the past few years. I also, since I'm not walking yet on my own, I know what I need to do to help me to get to that level to start walking. And I want you all to be a part of that journey and supporting me and going along with me as I learn to walk again. There will be workout videos. There will be motivational videos. There may be a couple other types of videos that I will discuss with you, but right now it's just motivation and workout and this MS journey, which I'm almost done talking to you about. When I finish with telling you about the symptoms, that will be the end of the journey, and I'll open it up to questions for all of you with questions, and we'll go from there. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and I will see you in my next video in a couple of days. Thanks for watching again. Bye.